See everybody. Um, Good.
Yep.
Well, as always, I think this is the best time of year. Outside, if you're playing in March, that would even be better, I think. But great time of year, season starting. I think this is even a more unique season than other times because there's actually been games on TV already. I think this new exhibition and preseason games, which I think is only going to become more and more, and hopefully here at ECU, we're going to be able to take part in that next season and beyond in terms of playing true preseason games in front of fans, whether it's at home or on the road. That's something that we have ambition to do. So excited about that. Um, Real quickly about this team, I'm going to start by saying this. I love this group of guys. I absolutely love this team. I love these players. I love this coaching staff. I've been so excited um, and feel very fortunate to how this summer and preseason has gone. And so much credit to this coaching staff and this group of players that's here and the way they've worked, how they've competed every day, and truly have made it very exciting and fun every day to be around. We know this is a long process for us to get where we want to go, but the excitement I have for this team in terms of everyday practice and getting better and the way they compete and the way they work gives us as a staff great optimism for what this team can accomplish.
All right. Questions, guys?
Coach, when you look at what you've been able to do the last 3 years, just increasing the win total. I know it's kind of a new team every year, but like in your culture and just kind of building that winning foundation, how much can you carry that over each year with the guys coming back specifically?
It's definitely what you try and do, and it's definitely the goal. There's no doubt about that. That is what we are aspiring to do, and it comes from within. It truly comes from within the locker room, the players. We do have a good group, and I know we'll talk about them. A good group of returning guys, but anytime you can hopefully build and continue to kind of increase the momentum and hopefully be better and better each season as we've done in conference and with wins, as you said. But the biggest thing is also is we've had staff continuity, Stephen, and that's a big deal. I think when you can keep staff continuity, I think that the coaching staff truly understands what we're trying to do. We've had players that have been here for multiple years. This year, it's 5, 6 guys that were a part of, uh, you know, uh, let's just call it a successful season in conference play last year. That that starts to build and that momentum carries. But you hit it on the head, and you hope that we've established a culture and identity for ECU basketball that we want to not only remain the same but be better going into this season.
Coach, can you talk about the fact that really been impressed with the fact you've been able to keep like a good nucleus players like you just talked about, especially when you consider the transfer portal and all that and NIL, I guess revenue sharing number. Can you talk about that? How you've been able to keep a good group of guys?
Well, I think it starts with the actual players. I think the character of the guys. If you guys look over there, and I think I said this last year, and if you look over there, the first word that's up on that wall in our practice facility is character. So I think when we bring guys in, we really want to bring high character, high substance guys. And what happens is when the transfer portal comes calling, or when there's financial decisions to be made, or when there's opportunities that maybe on paper look exciting, I think when you have high character guys that understand the value of team, program, player development on and off the court, the city of Greenville, this fan base, this university, their education, the things that hopefully over the last 50, 60 years has been really important in college basketball and in college athletics. I think we have guys that are still a little old school with that, and that's a good thing. And then, so you talk about the players being that, then the coaching staff, I think they've done a great job bringing guys in that believe in that still have that at their core. And then hopefully it speaks to the experience they're having here at ECU, whether it's on the court, off the court, academically. And I've said this often, and I'll keep repeating this, that player development is really the core of our program. What we do on the court, our guys feeling like they improve, the development that they have year to year, and honestly within the season, could be month to month, could be game to game. There's a lot of effort and a lot of priority is put into that, into continuing improvement of players. And I think that's what guys want. They want to know they're getting better. And hopefully the culmination of all that is that they want to be here year after year. And we can continue to do what we set out to do, which was establish a program more than just a year-to-year team.
Coach, those of us outside the program see what Jay Woodard brings both on and off the court. Can you talk about his leadership kind of behind closed doors? I know he's a guy you really lean on when it comes to bringing you guys in the program.
Yeah, it's a great point because Jay Woodard is a guy, along with other guys that I know we'll speak about, that his voice has elevated as much as anything. Between him, Jordan Riley, and Trevi LeBeau, three guys that were part of last year and winning 10 games in this conference, um, their voice has elevated as much as anything. But Jay is somebody that the guys listen to, all three of those guys. And they're basically all like captains on this team. But Jay's personality, he's always had a fantastic personality, but I've said this, and I believe you and I have talked about this specifically, that Jay's got a great feel for people. He's got a great feel for team. And he knew what last year's team was. He knew what RJ meant to the team. CJ, he knew the roles that everybody was in. And he did a fantastic job allowing everybody to do what they do. Well, this year, he has a different role. And he knows part of that is being a leader. Part of that is his voice. He coaches the guys in practice. He's so, he doesn't have an ego. He can handle being coached hard and take it, but also be able to talk to his teammates about it and say, hey, here's what we got to do better. And I think we got 3-4 guys that do that, Phil, and that's a big deal for this team.
Coach, when you look back at NIL first started, and a lot of us were negative about it, you were really positive on it. Do you think that's paying dividends now?
Well, the two things I know when I first got here, I said, look, we're going to build it. We're going to build it with young guys, high school guys. We're going to build it. But I said that in the very first day. I said, if we have to adjust and we have to make those adjustments based on the climate of college athletics, we will. We will absolutely do it. And I know we've done that. So whether that's making the adjustment because of rev share and NIL, whether that's making the adjustment with the transfer portal, here's what I believe. I think that's given us the opportunity, and I said this back then, why it's positive, because you get a chance to coach a CJ Walker for 1 year. Without the transfer portal, without NIL or rev share, we never have an opportunity to coach CJ Walker. Without the transfer portal, without NIL, we may never have a chance to have Gio Amajuru here for 1 year. So as much as we have lost some guys that have been very important to our program, to the transfer portal, and a lot of it probably because of NIL, we've also had the opportunity to bring new faces and new people into this program that I think have an opportunity to go down in history as Pirate Nation and fans love to see play, love to get to know. I mean, CJ right now is in Israel doing great playing over there. You know, I'm so excited for everybody in here and this fan base to get to know Gio Amajuru, Isaiah Mbang, transfers that have come in. Isaiah after 1 year, Gio coming in for his final year. Jordan Riley, another guy. 5 years ago, you never would get a guy that's already been at 2 schools. But now this fan base knows Jordan Riley, and we're very lucky every day to get a chance to coach him because his competitive spirit is off the charts. And so that's why I was always positive with it, Brian, because I thought as much as we lost and everyone wants to look at that, I said we're going to get some new experiences. And if we embrace it, man, it's going to be really positive.
Coach, when it comes to those new guys that you brought in this year, what specifically is the roles of guys like Gio and Corey, the new cast and transfers?
Well, you asked about Gio and Corey specifically, so I'd say Gio is that purple paint right there, and he wants to eat it up, and he's excited about it, and we need it. We haven't had a guy like him in 3 years. In terms of a post player, I mean, RJ and Jordan Riley love to play in that paint, and we post our guards. We know we do that, but Gio Amajuru loves to be physical and play in that paint. And guess what? He's got a whole nother level he can get to also. But he has been doing it since the day he got here in the preseason. He's done it so far, and he's going to continue to get better. But being someone that we can truly play through in the paint, bring a physical presence, is what his role is going to be on both ends of the court, on offense and defense. Corey Calker, you asked about him, true point guard. Somebody that thinks like a point guard, pass first, has incredible speed. One of the things about Corey that I think is a special talent that people don't talk about enough, he's got immaculate stamina. He has competitive stamina. He doesn't get tired. And that's a real great quality. It's almost as good as being an elite shooter or an elite finisher when you have great stamina. And so Corey in practice, his numbers, we chart our guys' numbers every single day. Physically numbers, we use a system that tracks how hard they work, their pace, all of those vitals. And Corey's are off the chart at the very top every day. And he doesn't get many subs in practice. So when I think about that, you ask about him, true point guard that plays with elite speed and pace, and he's going to get better all the time. This is his first year playing Division I. He's coming from junior college. This is a whole new level of competition. But really been pleased with those two guys as you asked about.
Jordan, on the
Well, he's gotten better in every way. He's become better because Jordan is a self-motivated guy. That's what you love about a guy like Jordan Riley. From the time the last year's season ended, he didn't stop working. He's one of the most unique players I've been around. He's got his own preseason routine he goes through outside of everything we do in here. He was in here last night in the evening. He was in here before this morning. He's been working. He's got a preseason routine that he does to make him feel like he knows he's in the shape he needs to be in. So everything we do with him, he goes above and beyond. So that's number one. So that means every category, whether that's his post game, whether that's his mid range game, shooting the ball from the perimeter. Yesterday in practice, we did a 20-minute scrimmage. He had 5 assists. So whether that's his decision making and his passing. But the biggest area that Jordan has taken a huge step is, and I spoke about it with a few people this summer, PJ, you and I have spoken about this many times, is his voice. His voice. A lot like Jay Woodard, he saw the roles of the team last year. And that is a special deal when you know the roles and you can do your role. But this year, it's a whole new role for him. And the biggest thing we need from him is his voice in the locker room, his voice in practice, and his competitive spirit, because Jordan's one of those guys. His competitive spirit, guys will jump on his back. They see him elevate, he elevates the whole practice. And you know what? That's a very special talent, and he's done that for us this preseason.
Hey, this is a local product just down the road. What did you like in him, and what was the transfer process like?
What we like in Luke, and I think that's the most important part of this, is that he's got high energy. He is a post player that plays with force. And that was big for us. I mean, I think just looking at the roster sheet, you can see we've gotten bigger in the front court. And Luke was a part of that. He had some success at New Orleans. He especially late in the season in terms of playing and actually production statistically, but really just a 6'8", physical, hard-nosed player. And you know what? To be able to have a local guy here, somebody that wanted to wear the purple, that probably grew up watching the Pirates and wanting to be in that, that's a big deal. That doesn't, it's almost like this lost thing in college athletics right now. And to be able to have a guy like that, and again, back to Brian's question about the portal and having a chance to do that, being able to bring a guy in for 1 year and do that, albeit only be 1 year, I think the impact he can make because of that is really positive.
Seems like this team has more size than it did last year. Was that a point of emphasis when it came to roster additions?
Yes. Yes, it was. It was. That was something we absolutely wanted to do. Now, how it plays out and how that goes in terms of what the rotation looks like that's still happening in here every day. And you know what? Yeah, we have a little bit less than right about, I believe it's 2 weeks till our first game, or right at that. This team will still progress and change and continue to improve as we get into November, December, January. And hopefully, one thing I feel like this program has done is we've always been playing our best basketball in conference play. You know, we want more. We want to compete for a conference championship. That is the goal, and there is a high drive and ambition to do that. But what I do know is in the 3 years we've been here, we've always played our best basketball as we've got into February and March and into the conference tournament. Doesn't mean we've accomplished what we want, but I think that's why this team won 10 games last year. And I think that's why this team at one point, it was either 8 of 10 or 9 of 11 games we won in conference play or late in the season. So with that being said, this team will continue to improve, but size was a real factor, and we hope that's a big reason why we're successful.
When fans come in and see you guys in a couple of weeks, what can they expect from this team, and what do you expect to put on the floor for them each day?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, and we talked about this in our film session yesterday, and Jordan Riley said it. And we know as a coaching staff what our identity is, but I said, Jordan Riley, I said, Jordan, what's the identity of this team? And he hit it on the head, and that is a physical, disruptive defensive team, a fast-paced paint team on offense that's going to attack the glass on both ends. And in a nutshell, that's who we are.
Coach, with Corey, not putting too much on it too early, but like his speed, his playmaking ability, how much can that change how y'all play offensively?
Yeah, we're really trying to play fast. We really are. We're pushing the basketball. I think him and Isaiah have done a nice job in the preseason doing that. We go live in practice a lot. We do a lot of scrimmaging in practice and game scenarios. Tybo has gotten in there and played some point also, as well as Jay. But Corey and Isaiah, their speed pushing the ball up the court and getting us into what we want to do, and their ability to play in transition. You've heard me say this before, they're the tip of the spear. They're the ones that are going to ignite what we do in transition. Now, everyone has to do it. If they push the ball and our wings don't run and our bigs don't run, it's irrelevant. If our bigs run and our wings run, but Corey and Isaiah don't push the ball, it's a non-factor. So we all got to do it, but in the end of the day, you guys know what I believe in a point guard. They are the one that sparks everything, and Corey and Isaiah have done a nice job with their speed and their playmaking ability.
Eli DeLoria coming in, obviously from the Big East, consult him in basketball at some level collegiately. What does he bring to the table for you guys?
Incredible mind. Eli DeLoria has a very strong mind. He's a very smart person. Most importantly, he's a smart person on and off the court, but his basketball IQ, his skill level, and that combination has brought a lot to our team this preseason.
Coach, can you talk about the schedule? They're in the entire nation with the fans. A lot of people, a lot of buzz with the Florida Thanksgiving tournament and different things, and playing at Carolina. What were your thoughts going into making the schedule this year?
We wanted to attack a national schedule, and we made that decision. We made our mind up right when the season ended last year, before we knew what our roster would look like. Scheduling is more complicated than it's ever been right now, and there's so many reasons why. We could spend a bunch of time talking about that, but the reality is that, again, I'm gonna go back to when we first were fortunate enough to come here as a coaching staff, and I was to become the head coach here. Was we said we want this to be a national basketball program, and part of attacking trying to become a national basketball program and having that drive and ambition to do so is playing a national schedule. So we attack that, and obviously there's some premier games from a standpoint of the fan base and looking at the names, and you referred to the Florida tournament in North Carolina, and that makes sense. But our schedule, 13 non-conference games, starting with Georgia Southern, this will be the most challenging non-conference schedule that I definitely know that had since we've been here, but potentially that ECU has had in their non-conference history. And so we attack that. We want that. We know we got to be ready every night. Our guys want that. It's going to be a great challenge. But this was not done on accident. This did not happen by accident. We wanted a national schedule so we can hopefully take the next step in making ECU a national basketball program in collegiate athletics.
I know specifically locally, the Carolina game, a lot of people buzzing, especially when it rolls around. What kind of went into even getting on the schedule and getting that game on?
Again, there's so much that goes into this, and you know what, and those guys at that level, at the P4, the ACC in particular, North Carolina, they got a lot they're dealing with when you talk about tournaments or games they play for national TV, or game going from 20 to 18, whatever their conference schedule is. Football's dealing with that now as they've made those adjustments. But it is a game. We have always reached out to all schools in our region, in the SEC, the ACC. We have done that every year, including the first year we got here. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. It worked out with a 3-year series with South Carolina. There's turned out to be 3 really good games. And we're fortunate that it has worked out with North Carolina this year, and we'll continue to search, whether it's in Virginia, South Carolina, North Carolina, whatever it may be, within the region, schools that are in the P4, we'll continue to try and schedule them. And obviously the goal is to hopefully get them to come to Greenville and get them into Minges like South Carolina did. It's not the case with North Carolina right now, but we'll continue to stay after that.
It's not only losing guys to transfer portal, you got to lose guys in graduation like RJ and CJ. Just kind of how have you seen Jordan Riley and all these other guys that have been here kind of take over RJ's voice?
Yeah, and it is the voice. That's the biggest thing because those guys, you think about Jordan Riley, I think it was 14 points a game last year in conference play. That's a heck of a deal, 13, 14 points a game, whatever it is, and that's why he's a first-team all-conference player. So the basketball part, the on-court, the physical stuff that they do, like all of our guys do what they do. They've improved. They're going to have we need Jay Shane to score the ball more this year. There's no doubt about it. He averaged 5-point-something points a game last year. We need him to be more aggressive scoring the ball. Trevi LeBeau has moved to the wing. Trevi LeBeau, as opposed to he started at the 4 for us last year. CJ was at the 5. He's now at the 4. So we need him to do something different at the wing spot. Reed Kaysen was a backup 5 last year that played limited minutes. He's playing at the 4 spot this year with Gio in there at the 5. So they all have new roles, and The point is they will all be seeing something different this year. They'll be in a new role. We don't have anyone on this team that has been in the position, whether it's, hey, at the Division I level, maybe like Corey Calker we're talking about. He's been the leader of a team before, point guard of a team before, but he hasn't been at this level. Jordan Riley had a great season last year, but as you said, this year he's a true leader for the team in terms of his voice and what he does, and not only bringing guys with how he plays, but he has to be able to motivate guys and get guys in the locker room and in timeouts and on the court when adversity hits. He has to be able to elevate our team. Maybe that wasn't his role as much last year. Jay Shane, Trevi, Reed. So everybody is stepping into a new role. And to Brian's point about the transfer portal, that's probably the biggest challenge, to be honest, is guys year to year in new roles very quickly, as opposed to 2-3 years building into a role. But that's also the fun part. And the guys have really worked hard at that this preseason.
Perimeter shooting, who's kind of standing out there? Who do you think shoot the ball on the outside?
Simple question about perimeter shooting. Tybo Bailey shot it well this preseason. Isaiah Mbang has shot it well this preseason. Corey Calker shot it well this preseason. Eli Delorier has shot it well this preseason. And Vito Perkovic has shot it well this season. And what I mean by well, other guys have made shots, whether it's scrimmages or playing within practice. But those 5 guys, they know we need them to hunt 3-point shots. And, I said it when I was asked about what fans will see and what Pirate Nation will see about this team. We are a paint team. We're a downhill team. We're a team that wants to play in the paint and play inside out. But we have guys that we need to be aggressive hunting 3-point shots. So that doesn't mean Jay or Jordan or Trevi. They know their role and they have shot the ball at times very effectively in the preseason. But those 5 guys that I mentioned, we need them to be aggressive 3-point shooters.
And Joe, vice Reggie and the coaching staff, what does he bring? What's kind of his role?
He's been great. He's been great. He's been a guy that's just, he's a great human being, and he's been good for our players.
Anything else? All right, thanks, guys. Coach will be up there for one-on-ones, and then we'll have.
Thank you, guys.